All right. Welcome everybody tonight. Welcome back for another discussion on the amazing Ganoderma mushroom. And I know there's some people that couldn't be on, so this is being recorded tonight. So you can get a copy if you need to listen to it one or two or 10 times to get the most out of it. So we have a special guest again. Dr. Brakowski is with us again in the house, as he always brings high energy and level. I know he's had a procedure recently on his shoulder, so ailing a little bit, so he would appreciate all your prayers as he heals. But I'll turn him over to him tonight. He's going to review the Ganoderma a little bit and then talk about the organo products. And if you could, go ahead and mute your Zooms now, and then be sure to put questions in the chat. He's here to answer questions. So, and then we'll come back at the end and answer any questions that you might have.
All right. Well, thank you, Tony, for being a pro. I'm going to use the same cover slide for the intro that I used last week when we talked about the benefits of reishi, because Dr. Tony said, hey, it might be a good review to talk about the health benefits, which, by the way, I could certainly talk about for hours on. And I'm going to go through the list and then maybe just try to highlight a few things. Antioxidant has some of the highest antioxidant, anti-aging status of any plant ever studied. In fact, it is the most alkaline plant ever studied. That wasn't part of the list, but alkalizing is also really good for longevity. It balances the immune system. So whether there's too much attack from an allergy or autoimmunity or too little defense with infection and or cancer, this plant has enough different molecules in it that it can calm down allergy, calm down autoimmunity, increase the ability to kill infection, and increase the ability to kill cancer all simultaneously. And there are literally 100+ medical studies on those immune benefits. Antibacterial against some of the worst bacteria on the planet. Great for the brain, especially calming with GABA, happy with serotonin, memory, which is something called acetylcholine, and then dopamine, which is great for focus, joy, and even fine motor control. And the medical literature says it's anti-Parkinson's, anti-Alzheimer's. When you talk about good for the liver, there's so many different liver-specific conditions, but it's proven to help the body clear toxins, some of the worst toxins ever studied, in a very efficient mechanism. Antiviral, the last virus, got a lot of press around the world these last handful of years. And early on, we knew that this herb was very powerful against that virus, and it appeared multiple times in PubMed. There's even studies that show that it can block replication of the HIV virus. It says hypoglycemic or blood sugar lowering effect. Later on, we're going to talk about some of the organo products that have sugar in it. And the company's pretty smart. They actually dramatically increase the amount of reishi Ganoderma in each of those products so that they are blood sugar friendly. And what I always tell people is test yourself before and after. And my diabetic patients are surprised that they can have a mocha, which is delicious, has some natural sugars, but only affects their blood sugar about as much as a meal of broccoli and chicken. Great for the gut, and that's all aspects of the gut, whether we're talking high gut like stomach and acid reflux, lower like colon and microbiome, and everything in between. Proven against 15 different types of cancer, lowers blood pressure by 3 different mechanisms. Very, very good for the heart in terms of preventing clotting, lowers the bad cholesterol, increases the good. Really good for overall energy. It's proven to be effective for migraine patients in the majority of cases without side effects. It can completely eradicate it. And neurasthenia is like mental fatigue and depression, which is also quite good for that. And then it also mentions pain, and there's some serious pain issues like fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, or even what's called herpetic neuralgia like shingles. It's quite good for that as well. But again, a little on my background, 30+ years in clinical practice. I've seen all ends of the spectrum, world champions from every major professional sport, as well as people sent home to die. And I have an absolute passion about sharing health. It's my favorite topic ever. I could read it and live it 24/7. And when we have our health, everything is a whole lot better. So I have a wonderful graphic artist friend that created this wonderful slide. If reishi had a CV, you look at all the things it's good for, you'd think everybody on the world would want to be on it. And reality is if they knew what it could do and how easy it were to get, I can't imagine a person not making that decision. So Dr. Tony asked something about autism. And here's what I'll tell you. I have not yet seen the published medical study where it says it's good for autism. Testimonials count for a few things. And sometimes that's all these autistic families have. But that young man, Dominic is his name. His mother described him as anxiety, panic-ridden with extreme attention deficit and very defiant. Wouldn't make eye contact, wasn't doing well in school. And there he is helping his father build a skateboard ramp. And she said that was the result of just basically drinking a hot chocolate a day. So the hot chocolate tastes delicious, was formulated for kids, great for the brain. And we have a bunch of testimonials where people are doing so much better with it. But Dr. Tony asked if I would go through essentially product by product and highlight what are the features there. So when we start looking at the King of Coffee, that's what we're going to call our hero product. It won the award as the best organic coffee in the entire world in 2022. The coffee is 100% USDA certified organic. All of our Ganoderma reishi is also 100% certified organic. But when it comes to the coffees, all of our coffees are tested clean, herbicide-free, insecticide-free, fungicide-free, no mycotoxins, things like that. But for a lower price point, they're not yet certified organic. So everything's certified clean, but different things for different people with different budgets, different palates. So the King is going to be the hero coffee. It's got the most potent part of the reishi mushroom, which is called the spores. And I'll show a little bit about the spores later, but we have a patented process by which we have 99.9% nutrient bioavailability from the spores. Our next closest competitor, 15%, and average is about 2 to 5%. So we are at least 600% better than the nearest competition if a company even has spores, and most don't. And we'll show that later why, because they actually grow their mushrooms in plastic bags and they're not healthy enough to reproduce. Tony, you had mentioned that some people had questions about China, and yeah, some of our Ganodermas is from China, but we're phasing China out. So the Royal is actually a partnership with a company called Beyond Organics here in the US. And we source organic reishi, organic cordyceps, organic lion's mane from them. And as soon as they're able to bump up the production where we don't need anything from China anymore, that's the direction we're going. Why are we still using China? Huge demand. They're USDA certified organic, but our leaders recognize the need to essentially phase China out because of trust issues and even cost issues. So now that we're growing it here in the States, even more cost effective. So the King is going to, again, have the spores within it. Royal has 3 different mushrooms: Ganoderma lucidum, also known as reishi, lion's mane, and cordyceps. So it's great for whole body energy, great for acid alkaline balance, great for immunity, great for focus, and even great for energy. And lion's mane is really known for brain energy, and cordyceps more for athletic energy. So every single bit of reishi in every one of our products is 100% certified organic. And then you start looking at the quality certifications. I've lectured for the top nutrition companies around the world. And Organo has the highest level of quality certification of any company that I've lectured for. Compare the other companies that actually grow those in plastic bags, and those plants are not healthy enough to reproduce. So I often tell people sick animals don't reproduce, sick plants don't reproduce, sick humans don't reproduce. And interestingly enough, we were in Barbados last week, and there was a woman who was told she'd never have children. Well, she now has three young boys. And she believes that her daily consumption of reishi is what got her fertility back. So 3 different parts of the plant. The mycelium is the root system. It's actually underneath all of our feet. If you're walking on planet Earth, there's mycelium not far below your feet. It's actually called the internet of the earth. And some interesting things about herbology is when something has a function in nature, it often will spill over that function within your body. So since it's good at connecting information and a networking system, the mycelium is great for the brain. The Ganoderma lucidum is the flowering body. That's what most people think of when they think of reishi. Well over 3,000 published medical studies on that. And then the spores are how the plant replicates. Some of the components within the spores are 75 to 80 times more concentrated than you find in the Ganoderma lucidum. So we essentially call that one the rocket fuel for health. So that really puts Ganoderma benefits on steroids. So King of Coffee, wonderful picture of that. Organic Arabica coffee with the spores. Our black coffee, I like to tell people that the King is the smooth blend, whereas the black is the bold blend. And by the way, sometimes I will mix them both. Again, super clean. This one's got a little stronger flavor, and that one has the Ganoderma lucidum within it. The Royal, again, we have the Ganoderma lucidum. The 13 first benefits that I shared with that are all related to that, even though there are many, many more. Cordyceps, that is going to be for energy and especially lung power. And I've often told the story of a runner named Eliud Kipchoge. He's the first individual ever to run a sub 2-hour marathon, even though it was not an official marathon. He did it in 1 hour, 59:40, something like that. But he drank our red tea, which has the Ganoderma and the cordyceps within it. Better energy, better production, better everything there. And then the lion's mane is going to be for focus. Our green tea, I have patients, colleagues that consider themselves tea snobs. They say they'll only drink the best of the best tea. And it usually takes them about 1 sip of our green tea to absolutely fall in love with it. Super smooth, easy going down, has all the benefits of green tea, which, by the way, there's over 1,000 anti-cancer benefit studies on green tea. And then when you start throwing in Ganoderma in that as well, even better. Green tea has a little bit of natural caffeine. It also has an amino acid called theanine in it that's very, very calming. And that is very, very synergistic with the Ganoderma to keep people calm. There's a good picture of our red tea. That's the one that Eliud Kipchoge drank. I have a professional hockey trainer. He lives in Sweden. His name is Andreas Ogren. He was a former NHL player. He used to, have issues with asthma. And he said every time he'd go for a run, especially in the spring when pollen was out, he'd have an inhaler. Well, he was drinking our red tea for a matter of weeks before he did his first run. And he realized that he ran so much better, so much easier, and never once considered using his inhaler. And he realized that, wow, once, drinking this red tea, I no longer need that. We also have soap and toothpaste. They call the soap G3 soap because it's got Ganoderma, grapeseed, and glutathione, but it's also got some other good things in it very, very well. We've seen teens with acne clear up very, very easily. If you're shaving parts of your body, and ladies, sometimes you shave your legs or your underarms or things like that. This soap is profoundly gentle between the coconut oil, the grapeseed, the Ganoderma, and the glutathione. No razor bumps, no razor burns. I have been shaving with this soap daily. I don't miss too many days of shaving. Maybe I do on a long weekend here and there, but I haven't had a single razor bump or challenge at all on my face or neck. My neck tends to be most sensitive with this Ganoderma soap. So I'm going to encourage you to give that a shot. The OG Smile toothpaste, I was lecturing at a holistic dental conference and a dentist in the audience said, wow, this is the best toothpaste that I've seen. And so it's got no fluoride. It's got no sodium lauryl sulfate. That's what SLS is. That's a toxin that way too many toothpastes have. And then it's also got some bamboo and some charcoal and a very mild peppermint taste. Really, really good. Once people start brushing with this, and I don't see them switching. It has such good retention because they wake up, their mouth is better, teeth are brighter and whiter, and everybody is healthier for the effort. Now, the products with sugar, these are things that I didn't sell in my clinic at all the first year because I'm anti-sugar. I think that's fair enough. It's fair enough to say I don't think anybody should eat processed sugar. We eat way too much of it. But I listened to a food talk one time on TED Talk, and they said, look, food companies will continue to make what customers are going to purchase. And here's the reality. If you were to buy one of our black coffee and put cream and sugar in it, you're worse off than if you just got our latte. And here's why. The latte is going to have, 500 to 800% more Ganoderma than either the black, the royal, or the king. Why? Because we need to buffer the sugar within it. And there's at least half a dozen sugaring buffering mechanisms within Ganoderma. The Supreme, it has the Ganoderma It's got something else that's really good for libido and sexual function. Like Tongak Ali, I think is the name of that herb, and there's dozens of studies on it. And I've had a few couples that have said, "Hey, our love life isn't where we want it to be. You have any suggestions?" Well, certainly we want everything to get healthier. We want them to make good choices. But for some, Supreme just makes an immediate change, and they start enjoying a part of their life that they weren't enjoying as much before. The mocha tastes like, birthday cake in a cup, and then the hot cocoa was formulated for kids. And by the way, the cocoa has more Ganoderma than any other product. So the latte, super rich and creamy. Mocha, you've got to try it to actually believe how good it is. And I told this story last time, and I think most people here are repeat, but I was giving a lecture in Toronto, Canada for a practice management guru named Sachin Patel. His group's called The Perfect Practice. And he loved the Ganoderma coffee, but he said, "Bob, we got to put this to the test. I don't like products with sugar. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a volunteer with a continuous blood sugar monitor. We're going to have him drink a mocha, and we're going to watch his blood sugar for the next 2 hours." Well, here's the amazing thing. One, the person that volunteered, 35-year-old healthy fit male, so not your average person, but his blood sugar didn't even go up a single point in 2 hours after drinking the mocha. So all these people that were in the room, there's about 100 doctors in the room. Most of them probably hadn't had sugar in years. They all ran to the back table, and the mocha was going in a matter of minutes. And, so if you have patients that really want that treat, it's going to be a much better choice for them. Talked about the Supreme. They sometimes call it libido in a cup, or the marriage counselor. Tongkat Ali is how they pronounce that. You look that up. There's at least a dozen published medical studies on that being good for libido and sexual function. And it even makes the coffee taste, uniquely good. It's got kind of like a little nutty flavor to it that a lot of people love. Hot cocoa was formulated for kids, but adults tend to like it too. Really, really good for sleep. That megadose of Ganoderma, very, very calming to the body, mind, and spirit. And Tony, I might have told this story last week, but it's such a good story. We have some chiropractor partners outside of Rochester, and they had two twin girls. And these girls were both taking attention deficit drugs, and neither of them liked it. They didn't make them feel good. So the chiropractor and the parents decided, "Hey, why don't we do a little trial? Why don't we give one of the girls a hot cocoa instead of the drugs, and we'll let the other child have the drugs." Well, at the end of the week, when they had a parent-teacher conference, they said, "Wow, we don't know what you did with Sally." I'll call her. That's the one that got the hot cocoa, but she's a new child. She's interactive. She's enjoying class. She's doing really, really well. Keep up the great work. Well, that was really all they needed to know, was that this was going to be beyond fantastic for their child's body and brain and future. Then there's some other slides that are going to come with this. Here's what I'm going to encourage people. You're connected with Dr. Tony. And buy from him, because there are people that'll buy things online. And it's estimated that about 10% of the nutraceuticals that come across online are fraud. I think Amazon's getting better and better, but we had a team member that she got on Amazon. She thought, well, this is more convenient. I'll just buy a coffee from there. And she got a horribly contaminated counterfeit batch. And her child ended up as the top case in the neonatal ICU at the Mayo Clinic. So something like over 50,000 medical bills. So don't be penny wise, pound foolish. You can get it at the best price straight from the source, and make really good use of it. But as far as today was concerned, as far as I know, we wanted to just highlight some of the benefits and talk about each of the products, which we've done that. So now I'm more than happy to address any questions really about any topic that anybody has.
I think there's one in the chat if you want to check that. Bob.
Yep. Tony, is there support found for autism? Go into our Miracle of Organo group, and you'll see, we can't make claims, period, end of story. We've had kids with neurologic tics, that were being just really blasted by their peers because, they would have a facial tick or something like that, go away with hot chocolate. We've seen dramatic improvements in different brain symptoms related to attention deficit, autism. We've even seen seizure. Now, I do comprehensive protocols for everybody when I put them on a protocol. But last week I talked about a 4.5-year-old boy that had a head injury and was having massive convulsive seizures multiple times a day in spite of 3 meds. And we got him on a really good chewable multi, a good chewable fish oil, the hot chocolates every day, and put spore capsules in some of his food. And within 6 months, he was off of medication and seizure free. So what about spore powder before major surgery? Well, I just had major surgery. And you know what? I dose it every single day. By the way, I've had patients that have done it the same. So if you go to the medical literature, it'll talk about Ganoderma being really good for the heart. And here's what it's very, very clear on. It prevents abnormal blood clotting without promoting abnormal bleeding. And that's a very powerful statement because the drugs prevent normal clotting and promote abnormal bleeding. And it was a horrible tragedy, but there was an action hero named Liam Neeson. He was in the movie Taken. His wife, I'll speak of her in the past because she's dead. Her name was Natasha Richardson. They went skiing in Montreal, Canada, on a mountain called Mount Tremblay. And Natasha was on a bunny hill, and she had a little fall, and she bumped her head, and she got up, and she was laughing, and no big deal. Well, within 2 hours, she was dead. After she hit her head, her brain bled out inside of her skull because of the blood thinners that she was taking. And by the way, if you really dig deep on the internet, you'll find it, but you might have to get it from me because I saved the article. But they scrub the internet. Believe it or not, they don't want to do anything that could create drug hesitancy. And we've seen this recently. And very, very sadly, I think it was 2 weeks ago. It might have been last week. I had a young lady come in whose father died under a similar circumstance. He was taking blood thinners, bumped his head, and his brain bled out in his sleep. So, we've got to be very, very cautious. If people are taking blood thinners, they should monitor their clotting parameters consistently. And, I'd heard about the FDA trying to create a home test unit, which I think would be awesome. If people could prick their finger and realize, wait a minute, I'm bleeding too much, back off on the medication or call their doctor, that'd be a good thing. But I have over 100 patients. And so whoever asks this, here's how I'll ask it. People will say, you know what, will this thin my blood? And the answer is, let's test. Let's do a before, let's do an after. Let's run something called a prothrombin time with international normalized ratio. And well over 100 people that I've tested. So I don't test them all the time. Let's say that's maybe one a month for 10 years or something like that. I've never seen it thin the blood. But we're all unique, and everybody should be tested if it's a concern for you.
That next question kind of lanes right into that with the statin drugs.
Let's see. Is Ganoderma safe for cardiac patients who take statins along with a lot of prescription meds? Okay, so there are no known drug interactions, no known toxicity. If you go back and look at last replay, we'll find out that Ganoderma has 3 different blood pressure lowering mechanisms. So I have seen people that have been able to wean off of their blood pressure meds just by switching out their coffee. It also prevents abnormal clotting without promoting abnormal bleeding. That part's good. It lowers the LDL cholesterol and raises the HDL. And it's also really, really good for insulin signaling. So when someone's taking a bunch of medications, that case becomes progressively complicated. And I tell people, here are the stats. If someone's taking 2 drugs simultaneously, there's a 6% chance that those drugs will interact in a negative way with one another. By the time they're at 5 drugs, there's a 50% chance that there will be negative drug-drug interaction. By the time that they're on 8 drugs, there's a 100% probability that there is some negative interaction between those medications. And so we all need to be very, very diligent and realize that the guidelines for drugs that are established by our government are this. When someone's given a drug, they should take the lowest dose for the shortest duration. Now, that means if you could get by with 1 pill, get by with 1. If you could get by with 0, get by with 0. But they tend to violate that. They'll put people on a medication and say, well, be on this for the rest of their life, because they often don't understand that there are natural solutions. The beauty of natural medicine is, I don't think there's any limit to God's pharmacy. I think this group is very comfortable with me using that language. And if we do our part, maybe medications are needed on occasion, but they shouldn't be a major part of our life once we get healthy. So it should be safe for multiple prescriptions, you bet. Someone else asked, which capsule is good for weight loss? The answer is they all have some weight loss benefits. So I would question, what is your challenge with weight loss? So for instance, if it's cravings, if it's sugar cravings, maybe the mycelium is best for you. If it's insulin resistance, then maybe the spores are going to be best for you. If there's who knows, poor sleep, when you're not running on rest and recovery, you're running on stress hormones. Maybe the Ganoderma lucidum is good for you. Maybe you try all the above. They all potentially have some metabolism and fat loss benefits, but you won't really know what's best for you till you try it. And by the way, that'd be my same answer for everybody, because we are wonderfully unique. My go-to, my first option is the spores because they're strongest. I have plenty of people that take that and they love it so much they don't ever think to try the others. But do yourself a favor, try all of them, see which one works best for you.
So on that spore conversation, I know one of the common questions you're going to get is dosage. Is there a common dosage for people? I know we're doing some heavier, startups with some people that are sick.
Yep.
But at the same time, what would be like a prophylactic type support daily for the spores? Do I need the spores if I'm drinking coffee every day? Those are some of the questions you'll see.
Yeah, and most likely not. The whole deal about putting the reishi in coffee and tea is it puts health in the habit. People never need to be reminded. They never plan to quit. So on my typical day, I don't take the spore capsules at all. But I had major surgery last Thursday for my rotator cuff. So I'm probably taking 20 spores a day right now. It's really good for the inflammation. It's good for the pain. It accelerates the healing. It's actually shown to enhance tissue recovery after surgery and circulation and things like that. So that's why I'm doing that big dose. But when I'm out of pain, I'll probably just go right back to my coffee and tea and regular supplementation, which by the way is significant. I take a good multi, good fish oils, probiotics, stuff like that. And I recommend that everybody should.
Yeah, and we talk about the foundational 5 on our subject line of what we do as far as healthcare and wellness and our practice too. So I think most of these people are going to understand that. Is this being just an additional, I like what you said one time about functional medicine in a cup, and getting kind of a support all the time. So if I'm hearing you right, and this may be a question that somebody might throw it at you, is a coffee a day keeps the doctor away, right? And then maybe a cocoa at night just to soothe and tone, support your rest recovery, shut your mind down a little bit would be probably a good scenario for most people.
Yeah, I really can't imagine anybody that'd be bad for unless they weren't a coffee drinker, right?
Yeah.
But one of the things that I tell people, there's a lot of people that are caffeine sensitive, but 9 out of 10 people that try our coffee are immediately good with it because the Ganoderma buffers it. And people that have a little challenge, we have them dose with the capsules to kind of upregulate their body's ability to process the caffeine. And I've only seen one person in 12 years that after doing that for a week, wasn't perfect with the coffee. So it's not 100% bulletproof there, but it's pretty doggone close.
Yeah, and that's one of the questions I've gotten quite often is there decaf? And I've told them the same thing from what my experience was. You don't see really the effects of the caffeine with this product. I think also realize that it's alkalizing in support of the pH of the body, which is really healthy for you also. Can I drink too much of it? Can I overdose this or
In
not?
theory, you can, right? So I tell people they don't do toxicity studies on humans, but they did take a 100-pound dog and put directly into the bloodstream the equivalent of 4,000 doses a day for weeks on end, and without toxic effects. So, there is no known toxicity. That's the way to answer it. But, if you're doing something that suddenly becomes disruptive to your life, you're probably getting too much. So, for instance, I've been drinking probably 2 gallons of water a day since my surgery. And I spend more time in the bathroom than I care to. Now, I'm not going to drink 2 gallons of water forever, but I really want to flush this stuff out of my system. So is that disrupting my life now? It is, but by design. So, you know, if you're drinking so much that you can't have a normal existence, well, back it off. But you're not going to get toxic to the reishi, that's for sure.
Right. So it's again safe for everyone. Again, we can't make health claims, understanding that finance. I think why I really wanted to do this conversation tonight was to help people understand there's different beverages. They all have health benefits. They all might not be the one that you like, but you'll find one that you'll like, or two or three. And so far in our practice, I would say that the red tea has been pretty popular. I did try both the green and the red tea. You're right. They're very smooth, supportive that way. Right now in the clinic, we have all the beverages and we have the spore powder capsules, and that's all that we're carrying. Actually, we have toothpaste also, which I do love. I love that toothpaste. So if you haven't tried that, you should definitely try that. I think you're all going to like it.
Soap
Um,
too. I can't put in a strong enough plug for that soap.
I'll have to get some
We've
and try.
seen
I haven't tried it yet.
so many teens, you know, Tony, you might shave with it and go, wow, that feels really good on my face. But, you know, I'll tell you what, the teens that transition and start using our soap, they're thrilled. They're
That's
thrilled.
awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And there was one other question I had. I don't know if anybody else has got questions for Dr. Bob with that, but yeah, just a strong support. I think so far it's been very well received in our practice. Your wife made a comment to me when we first started, don't run out, which I kind of can see now that the people are really enjoying it. So I really encourage you to try find one beverage that you would like, use that daily if nothing else. If you can't find any beverages, get some spores and take a couple spores a day. You're going to be better for it and healthier for it. Now, if you have a specific condition and we're working directly with your labs and understanding some of your, you know, functional issues, then we might go a little bit stronger at a dose for a while to help you reach your health goals. I know I had a conversation with Roberta today, and she said she just loved the coffee and noticed a little difference just in one box. So surely they picked up some more today, so that was great. But just I thought maybe at the end of this, if I could just you talked about shopping from us, and I appreciate that. And whether that's in the office, we also do have our organo store on our website. Do you mind going to Slinger Chiropractic Bob on your um, side and then pulling up our website? And we can just show folk just to make sure that they do it right. Um, because you can explain the benefits of shopping online versus shopping it from us directly.
Sure. And by the way, if you decide to become a wholesale customer or a auto ship customer, it shows up every single day of the month, every month at the same day, automatically on your doorstep, and you get a discount. So now
That's the stuff I kind of want to show you. If you could share, that would be awesome.
Here we are. So let's go with a new screen share. And there we are. And where do you want me to go?
And you can see the organo store on the upper right there.
I've got my own icon in there it is. Okay. My face was covering it. There it is.
So this is when you go into the store, that's what you'll first see.
And then you pick the country, right? We're in, I think it's 37 countries at this point. We click on English coming through.
And you'll see my information at the top, so you know you're shopping with us, okay? That's important because we have had some patients just go online, organo.com, and order, and now we've lost them. So we're trying to regroup and bring them back into the hove, if you will. But you can explain maybe how to do this. If it's real simple, just hit shop and fill your order out. And like you said, it offers an auto ship.
Yep. So once you hit shop, it'll take you to the screen and recommend some top choices and different things that are there. So you can click shop now, basically on the Royal. The King, again, is the hero product. I'm going to kick on that right there. And then very, very simply, you choose, you add to cart. I'll just go one, add to cart. And then I'll even go view the cart. Easy enough to do. You ultimately have to put in a zip code and a credit card in order to check out. But it's like
Really?
most different online things, fairly straightforward. Just click and follow the menus. And if you decide to get on an auto ship, you save 25%.
And they won't be able to put an auto ship in right away, is that correct? It would be on a second order?
It does take the second order unless, of course, if they call customer service.
Okay.
So,
And is it shipping on that? How does that work?
so if it's a retail order, anything over $50 is now free. We were really beat up by the shipping costs. In fact, at one point, it's like $13 a box to send. And then the company just said, you know what, we're going to start giving back now that we're out of the pandemic and we can handle this. We're going to actually give free shipping on any order over 50. So that would be two of most of the products, but one of the king, because that's the premium.
So that's really important for y'all to understand. And would that be continued in the auto ship then also if it's over $50?
Yeah. Yep. Every time that you yeah, if the order is over 50, it automatically goes no shipping costs, zeros right out.
And there is a discovery box. You see that kind of comes on the screen,
The
which
search.
has what multiple flavors in it, so you can get a little bit of everything. Is that
Oh,
right?
now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they call it the sampler pack. And so the sampler pack has a variety of every, I shouldn't say everything, but the very common ones that people like. It's like $25. If you wanted to try everything, the sample pack would be the one to go. So let me just type in sample. It might be under discovery. You might know the right name and I don't because it's been a while since I bought that.
Well, if you go off that, it's right there, the discovery box. Discovery box, yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, the right thing.
So
So
it's
it's,
3 king, 3 black, 3 supreme, 3 latte, 3 mocha
yep,
for 35 bucks.
great choice.
So you wouldn't get free shipping on that, but if
But
you order,
buy a box of black with it, and now you get it for free. Or buy a box of cocoa, or buy some capsules. Once you're
yeah,
over 50, you're there. Yeah,
and if you're going to use the spores, the capsules, I think, we're retailing for 116, they're 106 on a retail order, 106.50, something like that. But on auto ship, they go down significantly, if I'm not mistaken, Bob. Isn't
yeah.
that
You
right?
you get a heck of a saving on the capsules on auto ship. It's very significant. That's I recommend that for everybody that's going to take them consistently.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. So I just want to make sure if there's any questions on that, you guys can reach out. It's pretty straightforward, but obviously we're always going to have the product at the office too. But if you want to get on and grab it that way, you sure can. That's an easy way to do it. Any other questions while we have this young man on the line tonight?
All
And
right.
it's right on the green tea and red tea. You get 3 servings per tea bag, correct?
Correct. Yep. I'll have people that'll actually cold brew like 6 cups. They'll mix the green and the red. They'll put in a green sachet, a red sachet. They'll cold brew it over the night, and then they sip it all day long. And it's a pretty good blend. If some people want to add a little honey to that, fine, no problem. It's delicious, goes down good, and really hydrates nicely.
Is there any thing on social media that this group could get on and understand more if they have more questions?
We've got a group called Miracle of Organo. It's by invitation. And that's a really good group to start going through these testimonials. So if someone were to type in autism, they'd find a handful of testimonials for kids that, the parents aren't making health claims, but the kids got a whole lot better. Whether we're talking about infertility, chronic illness, diabetes, fat loss, blood pressure issues, even seizures. There's almost no limit to what this can do. It's not going to help everything, but it shouldn't hurt anybody with any circumstance.
Right. I completely agree. I just want to say thanks from the bottom of my heart to you tonight again for spending some time with us. I know you're recovering right now, and I can't overemphasize to our group how valuable this gentleman is in our profession, in our world. Like he said, a life worth celebrating. He blessed me with that for my birthday, and I appreciate that. And you guys know how hard I work to try to help you guys be your best version, and just having him on our corner. I want you to just be reassured that it just helps you guys to be even better. So he's become a friend. I have access to him pretty readily, so it's pretty easy to get a hold of if I have questions, and he's very helpful for me as I grow. I'm always learning too. You know, I only know what I know. So if I can learn more and teach that and help support you guys any way, shape, or form, you're going to continue to have breakthroughs and great success going forward. So we do really appreciate your time tonight. We appreciate you collecting this. We appreciate all you guys taking the time out of your schedules to be on also and wanting to learn more. So thank you. God bless you all. And we love you. So have a great evening. Okay.
Love to all. Thank you all. Actually, my son shared a quote that I like. He says, the journey of 1,000 healthier choices starts with one healthy cup. So I like that one. It's good Lao Tzu spinoff. So get that healthy cup going.
All
I
right.
had a, I had a question
Oh, yeah.
Go for it.
with diabetes 2. Is it good to do one coffee and spores both in the day?
You can do as many coffees as you want and as many spores as you want. You know, I would do keto. I'd get some good exercise, make sure your sleep is good, you know, do all the Magnificent Seven, eat right, drink right, think right, move right, sleep right, poop right, talk right every day. But the coffee, coffee has proven blood sugar benefits and the spores do as well. And there's no upper limit to them. So if you take more, you'll likely get better faster. Every good choice counts.
Which spores is the best?
Well, the spores are specifically the part of the mushroom that replicates. So there's spores, there's mycelium, there's Ganoderma lucidum. The spore capsules are the best, but the Ganoderma lucidum comes in capsules and the mycelium comes in capsules. But spores are my go-to.
That's my beautiful mother, Bob.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. You're kidding me. How's that even possible?
I know. Everybody calls her my sister.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow. All right. Well, you got some phenomenal genes. Well done. And great job
Thank
taking
you.
care of your genes, Mom. Well done.
Thank you again. Any other questions before we sign off? All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all. Thanks
All right.
again.
Good night, all, and God bless.
I'll talk to you soon.